Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Stuff like that, man. This is the greatest podcast ever. Real talk. Like, the content we're gonna give out is, cause the edits too. I'm gonna get crazier with the edits. Like, I'm just been doing simple stuff, but I'm gonna start adding clips of different stuff.
You ready?
Starting with this week when we play this video.
You ready?
Hold on. Alright. Let's go.
What did you think about the fight? I beat him. Everybody out there know I beat him. Everybody out there know I beat him. But let me talk something. Let me let y'all know. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy.
What else?
I beat him. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Everybody out there know I beat him. 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 Yeah. I beat him. I want to thank the whole hood who came out here.
Hey, welcome to the S.A.L.T Society podcast, man. The greatest podcast ever.
Woo!
Like Deontay Wilder said, what'd he say?
I beat him. That was Adrian Broner.
That's Adrian Broner. Yeah, to this day.
To this day.
He really did beat that boy.
To this day.
To this day.
To this day.
We still fighting.
And to this day.
We're still fighting.
To this day.
To this day.
To this day.
To this day.
And to this day. To this day. To this day.
No idea.
That's how we feel right now. It's episode 10. It's January 23rd. Hey, the year's flying by and we still going.
You know I beat that boy.
Oh no.
Someone's supposed to
Episode 10. We on 10 for episode 10.
1 and a 0.
We in the whole, we had to break out the, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, we had to break out the whole new, we had to break out the whole new seats.
This day.
To this day.
This day. To this day.
We had to break out the whole new seats because that's how we feel right now. That's how we feel.
On God. Speaking of on God, shout out to Adrian.
Because look, this is the anniversary.
Okay.
This is the anniversary of the last episode that we did in 2018.
Oh,
it
really?
was January 22nd.
Okay.
Today is January
23rd.
23rd.
I feel you. Nice. I'm cool with that.
That was the last episode we did, and then we disappeared.
Uh-huh.
But we back.
Like we never left.
Greatest podcast ever. Hashtag greatest podcast ever. Listen, shout out to our YouTube watchers, our YouTube family. Our subscribers are going up. If you're watching this, please share this with your friends. Like, comment, all of that. Subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on SoundCloud, we thank you. We had over 100 listens on our episode last week. That may not mean nothing to y'all, but if 100 people will listen to our podcast for over an hour, we truly are grateful. If you're listening on iTunes, on Spotify, wherever you're tuning in, we thank you. We appreciate you. Follow me, your boy Yali, at YALIIAM. Yali I am. Follow my boy J Nice at JNiceTheKB. Exactly how it sounds. And my boy DJ Connect on the ones and twos at DJ Connect, KINECT. And listen, don't forget to go to our website, www.thesaltsociety.com. If you are an artist, if you are a musician, if you just whatever, if you're a creator of content, if you're a blogger, please hit us up. You can go to thesaltsociety.com/contact. You can click on submissions, send us your videos, send us your music. It's not a guarantee that it's going to get on the website. But if it's quality, it will get on the website. I promise you. We'll be posting things on the blog. If it's dope music, and this is not, we don't discriminate. If it's good, it could be country music, it could be hip hop, jazz, neo soul. J Nice's favorite genre of music is country. Like, It could be all over. When we talk about being a society, like we not only want to elevate the culture, we want to represent the culture as well. Like and culture is not only just Christian, and that's what I think a lot of us we fail to realize, that just because we're following God, whether we be Christian, whether we be Muslim, whether we be Buddhist, like people are trying to chase after God. And instead of being inclusive in the sense of sharing our thoughts, our ideals, our view with other people and inviting them to come in and have conversation with us and do life with us, we tend to get exclusive and inclusive, and we just tend to only associate with other people that think just like us, and therefore we never grow.
That is
same with politics is too. Like you only surround yourself with people you agree with. You're never gonna learn something about somebody else.
Yes, and so what we're trying to do with these conversations that we're having amongst ourselves, like this is raw, this is authentic. We're trying to force ourselves into that type of environment where we're constantly challenging each other on the way we view things. We're taking these conversations home, thinking them over. I'm talking with my wife about stuff. You know, she's getting riled up talking about Trump and talking about the wall. And it's good. It's good energy. It's good conversation because it challenges us to constantly be evaluating who we are, what we believe. Because if we're talking about spirituality and walking with the Most High is a journey, that means that it's a relationship. Then that means that every day is fresh and new. Because I know that when my relationship with my wife is at its best, it's when we're having conversation every day, we're interacting every day, talking about different things, we're interested in what each other is doing. But if I get so caught up in my stuff and she gets caught up in her stuff and we're only focused on the kids and we get out of balance, then things feel like it's arduous and it's hard. And that's how it is with our walk with God. When we don't get in balance, we don't keep things in perspective, and we think that we have a handle on exactly how he is and how living for him is, and we just get into routine and not relationship, we stop growing.
Bro, I think you hit on something. I want to ask a question. Like,
yes, sir.
I want to know what y'all's thoughts are about that, though. Like, if speaking of culture, like we hear that word a lot, and it gets thrown out a lot.
Yeah.
If you had to pick like 5 key components that were the things that could show you culture, what would they be? The necessities, like 5 necessities that could define culture, like what would they be? You know what I'm saying? Because you hear it thrown out a lot, and it's a word that I think a lot of people understand to mean something, but it may mean something different. You know what I'm saying? Like how they say hip hop has 5 elements. Like what would be the elements for creating culture?
You want to answer this first or me?
I can answer it.
Okay, yeah. You could go.
I think 5 elements would be, the first element would be family.
Okay.
And the upbringing, whether it be wherever you're brought up at.
Okay.
In the environment that you learn. Then the other element would be your actual physical location, as far as like if you grew up in the hood or grew up in the suburbs or grew up wherever wherever that be, or even in the country that you grew up, the actual physical location. Yeah. And then I think a lot of part of the culture would be your religious background, whether it be tribal or Christian or, like you said, Buddhist and all that. What is that, 3? That's 3 of them right there.
Yeah, that was 3.
So then,
so you're saying your home, your nationality, your faith.
Your faith, okay. Yeah. And then I think not race, but your ethnicity, as far as like, and that ties into, I think, physical location as well. Like,
okay.
Like the Asian culture versus the, that type of deal, because there's a lot of different things that they hold important versus what we hold important, depending on what the region is. I think ethnicity, and that kind of encompasses a lot of that, what I just said, the 3 or 4. And the 5th one, education. Okay. Education meaning not just your schooling as far as where you went to school, but like if like you went out on your own and learned either from your family or from your background or what have you. I think education is
okay.
A good element.
I like it. What about you, Cal?
I'm thinking of it more in like what I see shaping culture now, like not so much what I think is ideal. So like what I see shaping culture now, for one, definitely music.
Okay.
I feel like it's like that might be the number one shaper of culture. There's so many things that surround that and spring out of that. Next would be religion, music, religion. I think that's is enough said by itself. That religion definitely shapes culture, and then ethnicity. I would say would be the next one. Just
Is
the
ethnicity
division.
like similar to ethnic? You know what I said, ethnic.
Yeah, it's ethnicity. Yeah, just the divides, the confusion, the lies, the.
Yeah, I just took a left.
Yeah, I just took. I'm waiting on my DNA sample to come back.
You told us about that too.
it's
You
pretty
told us.
That's
about
be dope. I want it.
And then I just got this. So I just got this family book of the Northingtons or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And it goes back past the Civil War, and it's handwritten. It's not pictures. It's handwritten
That's fire.
of every like person, and that ended with my grandfather. So now it's been passed on to me. So I have to write about my uncles and my aunts, and then myself and my family.
That's hard.
So like all the
Yeah, that is fire.
and then so like reading it is even more interesting because some of my family history is totally against what I believe in.
Wow.
Like-
Hey, we're gonna have to get into that in a second.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
finish my 5 reasons, man.
No, I like this. Keep
Music.
going.
I'm sorry. I cut you off.
Music, religion, definitely ethnicity. Like I said, that can, and we're gonna get, because I want to hear what are these beliefs?
What is this?
What these? So fair. What else? No, music, religion, ethnicity, education, of course, and or the lack of education, especially in America, and then finances, definitely.
Oh yeah, I forgot what.
Yeah,
I saw this
definitely.
meme.
Money is
It was a Peanuts comic, but they put the bubble, and they said, "No one's gonna teach you something that overthrows them."
Right.
Ooh,
Right.
Drop bombs on that. Hey, to this day.
And then I have a PSA here soon.
Okay. So what are these beliefs that you found that
It's not necessarily a
family
belief.
Wait, hold that thought, bro. I was just thinking real quick.
I haven't read the whole thing yet,
Are
so I
you
think
telling me that your family had slaves, bro?
bro, it's not slaves. Maybe it was. I don't know, but I know they were in the Civil War and not on the
They fought for the South?
Confederate side. Because they're all from like Mississippi and Tennessee and stuff like that, and they're sharecroppers.
But you've been cleansed.
Do you think
by
you've been
have
cleansed
cleansed by the
descent?
blood?
No, I know I have to come
You've been cleansed by the blood of the Lamb.
But no, so my family, from what I gather, and what I'm learning more is they left Ireland, North England, what have you, because they were royalty at first, but then like I guess there was a change of king, and during that that time where religious persecution was real huge, they came and migrated to the Americas.
Got it.
Before there was a wall.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. Before what? Oh my God. I fell right into that trap.
Got him.
There was a wall.
No, but
Got him.
I can't even focus. That was so funny. Yo, that joke was like genius, bro. Like, it took some thought. Like,
He's getting better. He's getting better.
you're wiser. You're stronger.
Hey, did you go see that Dragon Ball Z movie yet, bro?
Bro.
I want to go see it, bro. Like,
Bro.
I just want to see it.
I want to see that Kevin Hart movie.
Bro,
though.
the
the
bootleg's
up
on YouTube, bro.
For real?
Yeah, the bootleg's on YouTube.
Hey, man, we're not
So
going
I
to
saw
promote
it.
that, man.
I
We're
saw
not
it.
going to promote that,
Nah, I
man.
saw it. It's great. It's great. And like,
We'll just pull it up after this.
I know the story. But it's great. I know.
You
people-
know, that's us. Like, we grew up on Dragon Ball Z.
That's
Like,
a fact.
even with our moms and trying to block it. Sorry, mom and dad.
That's a whole
We
fact,
knew
bro.
the codes.
That's a whole fact. Bro,
they
Dragon
tried to
Ball-
parental block the channels. Like, yeah, right. We
That's
know
what's
you,
crazy
You're
is
using
like-
your marriage date. Okay.
You had children's codes back then. I don't
My
remember.
mom had.
I had to get the UFH.
Yeah, I know
UFH
you're
in there, the
talking
3
about.
channels.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I didn't
Yeah, the
get
new Dragon Ball movie's out, bro. If I had to give it a rating, I say a solid B+. I liked it. I
Not
liked
that you've
it a
seen
lot.
it bootleg. It's,
No, I'm not. I'm not talking about where I saw it at all. We're going to hold that. But nonetheless, I did see it. It's a solid B+. People who are Dragon Ball enthusiasts are rating it low. I've seen every Dragon Ball movie. It's my favorite out of all of them.
Wow.
why are they rating it so low?
Because the Dragon Ball cartoon tells the story. The movie is just actually painting the picture of the story that we already knew.
Right.
So a lot of them are like, we didn't learn anything.
But
new from
they're
this.
trying to appeal to a different
Yeah,
audience
everybody.
now.
Well, everybody's
everybody
always wanting people to add more, and it's like,
Yeah.
why can't we appreciate that they just brought what is there?
It's just like
to
the
life?
Jumanji series.
Yeah. You know what? I've never seen any of them. There's a lot of movies that I think are, I didn't get to talk about my 5 components of culture. Because I was going to say, but there's a lot of movies.
Obviously,
that
film
are-
is one of yours.
Well, I was gonna say-
if we had a top 10, definitely I would.
I wasn't even going to say film. I was going to say entertainment as a whole. Whether
Entertainment,
it's music,
yeah,
movies, art, like any kind of artistic expression that is enjoyed, I think helps to shape culture.
Facts.
But one of those things is there's a lot of modern American movies that have helped to shape culture that I've never seen. Like I just
facts.
didn't care.
I've never watched any of
Jumanji is huge.
I've never watched the Star Wars.
I've
Neither
never
have
seen
I.
one.
Never
I've never seen
have.
one Star Wars. I've never seen any of the
Maybe
Harry
we'll have a
Potters.
Star Wars. I feel like they're crucifying us right
Yeah.
now. Maybe we'll have a
Hey,
Star Wars
who is
watch
this?
party.
Bro, wait, I saw
Never seen Star Wars?
I seen the first
Oh my
two when I
God.
was like 8 or 9. I know, right? Like when I was 8 or 9, I saw the first two because I went to a Christian camp and it was raining, so they like put us all in this big cabinet. And made us watch it. I don't remember that. I didn't watch it ever again. Didn't care.
So what are your 5? You said entertainment, is that
Oh
one?
yeah. So no particular order. My top 5 that I think defines culture and shapes culture: faith, like religious beliefs as a whole.
Yep.
Entertainment, education. Technology. I think that's one of the
Yeah, that's a good one right there.
Really progresses any kind of culture as a whole, and then I think region affects it because I think the climate makes people respond differently, and has different, different.
The people up north are rude.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but I found out though, it's not that's because of the what you call it, the
so close
dense
together,
population.
yeah.
But I mean, like you'll find like, and the hotter it is, the more irritated people are. Like the crazier their crimes are, and like the hotter regions, like the countries that are closer to the equator, or the states that are closer to the equator, are the ones that have like the ridiculous. Fashion. Fashion was the other one. Fashion was another one I thought about. Fashion really defines culture.
Yeah, when I was growing up in Arizona, bro, there's some wacky
Bro,
stuff.
whenever I watch Breaking Bad, like about
I love Breaking Bad. I've watched the whole all seasons.
Bro,
all
let's do that
episodes twice.
See, look, and we talk about we have no
Twice.
content about. I know what I got a lot of stuff talking
I've never
about.
seen a single Breaking
Top
Bad
5
stuff.
series, bro. Give me 5
You've never
series that you
seen
feel.
Breaking Bad? I gotta put you on, bro. You'll love it.
I never even seen Walking Dead.
No, that's
Nah,
great.
Walking Dead is alright.
Nah, Walking Dead is great. Walking Dead is great.
I don't
It's
get
great.
the I don't get the premise. Okay, these zombies are walking like.
Let me tell
very
you
slow,
why.
and
Let
all
me
of a
tell you,
sudden
that's
they kill
another thing
everybody.
too. Like churches are crucifying the Walking Dead, saying like these zombies and the devils.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's the devil.
This is the whole theory of the Walking Dead. There is a disease and a sickness that after someone dies goes into action and animates their body. So even though your body is decaying, your brain is still moving because of the sickness. And so
It sounds like a couple of modern.
Wow.
it's like a what?
There's a bunch of modern diseases that's similar to
For
that.
sure. So, but the thing about Walking Dead that's great is that it shows like the true character of people if we didn't have the status quo of what we call culture now.
Wow.
So you strip away everything and put men back to where they are. Like, perfect example, like one of the preachers in there, you see him, he's a devout man of God, loves the Lord, and is committed. When he's left to actually have to protect his flock, he turns his back on the church. And he locks the door to the church, bro. For real, he locks the door to the church.
Hey, remember we read
his
the
whole membership
scripture?
is
Two are better than one because they have good. But if one doesn't have somebody when they fall, tough.
It's a big fact, bro. Tough,
Message version.
bro. But yeah, so like Walking Dead is great, bro. But like, what would you say? So you would put Breaking Bad in your top 5 series of all time?
Yeah, Breaking Bad definitely. It's classic. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Heisenberg Walter White. You know, it's just a classic series. But you know me, I'm more of if I was gonna rate anything, I'm rating movies. I'm I watch a lot of TV shows.
Yeah.
When I do, you know what I'm saying? When I do watch on Netflix, I tend to binge, or I'm watching it at night. Really, if I lay down.
So
I may watch 2 or 3 episodes at a time, but yeah. But the dopest series that I've watched TV wise, I would have to say. Give me a second.
We got it. Connect you.
Give me a
got
second.
Boston Legal, bro.
I've never seen it.
Boston.
I've
Legal.
never seen it.
With William Shatner and that dude that's from what movie is that, or that show that's out right now? He's a bad guy that turned into a CIA informant or whatever. Anyways, Boston Legal. It's very funny, but it's very intelligent, like very witty. You have to pay attention, and I enjoy shows like that. Like I enjoy dumb comedy to an extent, but at the point where if I'm just trying to chill and unwind, but I like to think about what's going on.
So these are like drama series that we're talking about too right now.
Well, there's not really.
Because I was thinking right now, I was like, I don't want to mention like sitcoms either, because like there's a lot of sitcoms that I'm like are influential that change.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The fabric of America. You know what I'm saying?
I think there. Well, this is a sitcom / like funny.
I've heard of it, never watched it. Is it still airing? Like they still making episodes?
They got rid of it, but I got all of it if you want it.
Yeah, Breaking Bad definitely is.
Breaking Bad is good. I think I like the first 4 seasons.
I got that Haji copy if you want it.
Straight from my rack.
Facts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Breaking Bad, and then I like comedies. I'm looking forward to the new Bad Boy.
We can talk movies now. If we talk about movies, we could talk movies. Speaking
I'm not as versed in movies as I am in series. Like, I don't know what it is about that draws me about somebody being able to recreate the same story and keep you intrigued for years.
Right.
You know,
you know what? That is dope because that's how I look at TV shows. Like it's one continuous movie.
Right.
Yeah.
That is dope, and like even. It does, even though it's kind of like, but you think about the Days of Our Lives and all the daytime shows that run for years. And it's
Bro,
like,
Sesame Street is on its 40th season.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Bro.
And it's on, wow.
And that's not a show that just comes on like once, like for 3 months.
Day.
Only.
And they've had
every single day.
And every big star has been on there.
One of the ladies, bro, is about to retire from Sesame Street. I can't remember her name, and we can Google it if you get a chance. But she's gonna retire. She started the show as a teenager, and then she got married on the show. She had children on the show, and now she has grandchildren on the show. And she's finally saying, I'm done with Sesame Street. Like she's 65 years old. It's been on the show since she was 16.
If it's still got that paycheck,
but then on top of that, I was reading like her bio and her IMDb and stuff. Yeah. Like she's done so many movies that we never knew she wrote. We never knew she directed. We just know her from Sesame Street. You know what I'm saying? And that's job stability, bro. Yeah. That's job stability. There's a little boy on the show that's an adopted character. They adopt him when he's a baby. Yeah. So literally, from the moment he's a baby till he's a teenager, he's been working on Sesame Street.
Hey.
That's a crazy thought.
That's a college fund right there.
Yeah, like Sesame Street is an influential series. Like that changed our culture, bro.
I think the other series that I've really gotten into is in trying to figure out the Marvel series on Netflix. There's some good ones.
Marvel's killing on that.
Oh yeah. They are killing. As a matter of fact, we gonna cut it right there, Matt. And we'll be right back. Do you have a featured song of the week? I think we did. We said it's Wande, huh? What song from Wande? Shout out to Wande.
Shout out to Wande.
Bro,
she's
Wande's
killing the game.
Wande,
She's from ATX. Hey, she's S.A.L.T Society affiliate. You know what I'm saying? We've been rocking with Wande before any of y'all knew who Wande was.
Bro, she
been rocking with us at ATX. Ask her if she know who FBC Click is. Ask her if she know who Calvin Martyr is. Ask her if she know who J Nice the KB is.
It was cool. It was
That's
like
our sister. You know what I'm saying?
So Atlanta.
Yeah. So anyway,
Wande, feature, bro.
What song is it?
I Gotta Live.
I Gotta Live. This is some fire. This is some heat. I Gotta Live by my girl Wande.
Congrats to her on the freshman of 2019 as well.
Oh, she won?
Well, I don't know if she won.
She got nominated for.
She's in the second round.
She was nominated for Rapzilla Freshman of the Year for 2018.
Is Austin still in?
2019.
For 2019.
She's 1 or 2 right now.
Her set at South by Southwest was lit last year for the RMG showcase.
She goes in hard.
So anyway, without further ado, this is Wande. I Gotta Live. We'll be right back.
I get it, for real must admit it. Some people ain't with it, but I gotta live it. The blessings are fitted, that means you can't get it, but you can get yours if you just say submit it. Was born in the sin, but he made me acquitted. All I had to do is just sit and admit it. Wants to be together if you were permitted. The boss in your court home and just going, who you know I'm coming like this? Got bars, but your girl so free. Yeah, I am just an icon living. God hate don't come around me. Yeah, wake up, I'm turning the pages. Book it like that's what my name is. Running the race and I'm blameless. Chasing the Lord, not the famous. The doubters around me, I told them to stop. Your girl optimistic, my God never missing. Some negative energy, I had to block. I had to listen and keep it persistent. My own competition, don't compete with y'all. I'm on a mission, the sun he was risen, so I gotta go out and double the flock. Give all that I got, so I gotta live, yeah. Yeah, I gotta live, ayy. Look, I gotta live, yeah. See, I cannot quit, the fire is lit, so I gotta live, yeah. Yo, I gotta live, ayy. Look, I gotta live, ayy. See, I cannot quit, the fire is lit, so I gotta live, 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 live. I had to go and get my life back. I gotta focus, yo, it's no cap.
Podcast ever. It's your boy Yali.
To this day.
Like that.
And to this day.
That's how we feel. We back. Drop bombs on it for the 10th episode of the S.A.L.T Society podcast. And on that note, before we get started any further, DJ Connect, he has a very serious
I don't even know what this is about, but I feel like it's gonna be amazing. Let's go.
A very serious
I'm trying to be serious right now.
Oh, my bad, bro.
Don't laugh.
My bad, bro. Shout out to Dasani.
All right, so
He has an apology?
the Dasani water is terrible, bro.
Bro,
Don't
it
drink
was
that
it was
anymore.
139.
I got some more water in the
Hey,
fridge.
chill, bro. Hey, Coke, if you want to sponsor us, we will have all of your Dasani ads on the S.A.L.T Society podcast. It is delicious. It's crisp. Has a calming agent. I feel great already about it. You can direct all checks to @thechain.
So I've been notified that. Well, I'm trying to be serious.
He sounds like he's about to confess that he was on drugs. He's like, I've been smoking crack.
I've been notified that I have been involved with some offensive behavior.
Oh, really?
That the actions that I've taken.
Wait, hold on, bro.
Disrespectful.
Drop bombs on your disrespect, bro.
Disrespectful. Distracting.
Okay.
And just plain out uncalled for. And I want to apologize to everyone in the S.A.L.T Society because I want to make sure that everybody is not offended by what I do.
What happened, bro? I want to know.
So I apologize for distracting everybody with my late drops, my chopped up applause. You know, I didn't realize that it was that affecting that people. That
it was offensive, bro.
It was like affecting people very badly. I really want to. I'm trying to be.
Bro,
serious.
he's trying to be genuine, Calvin, and you were
I
like,
just want to make sure everybody knows that I take your criticism or critiques. I'm sorry, serious, and I will work to better myself in the future, and I've changed my ways.
He's repentant of heart, guy. I want everybody to listen right now. That he's repentant of heart, and if we can forgive DJ Connect, it would be great, bro. Wait, how did this offense come, bro? How did they solicit your response in order to? I mean, how did they submit their critique in order to solicit a response?
Hey, wait, I'll give you one better.
Yo, Calvin started throwing his headphones on.
I'll give you one better, bro. I called the person who said it, bro.
Oh, for real? He had to put on his glasses. Hey, you want this? Hey, wait. Oh, you got to call. You got to record.
Oh yeah, give me the cord.
Oh my gosh, I can't
I'm
wait.
gonna call the one who said it.
I can't. Oh, you gonna call him now?
Yes.
I can't wait. Is it a guy or a girl?
It's a man, bro.
It's a man? A grown man?
It's a young man. It's a young man.
My thirst has been quenched by Dasani.
Bro, this is
the Coca-Cola
so
product.
funny, bro. This is finna be
Dasani inbox me.
Oh my god! So when we
Monster.
had, I told
Red Bull ditched me, so you can.
Bro, you see that?
So listen, I told Connect that that we got some feedback.
Oh snap!
For the podcast,
Okay.
and that the person said that his drops, he should start doing his drops on time because it's starting to not get
terrible, bro. That laugh sounds so conniving, bro.
It's not. So anyway, let's see here. Let's see. Can y'all hear this?
I don't know. Yep.
Yep.
We can hear it.
Oh, this is gonna be great. We need some background music for this greatness.
I'm about to drop.
Hold on. He better answer too. Hold on, turn it down.
Your call has been forwarded.
What? What the heck, dude?
Hold on, we gonna try to call him one more time. Hold on.
I know he ain't
Better
doing
answer.
nothing.
He ain't doing nothing.
The distinct ringtone.
Come on, bro. Pick up, bro.
We should all just start calling him right now.
I want to know who put the complaint in.
He needs to pick up.
Call has been forwarded.
It's all right. If he calls back,
We'll answer it.
if he calls back, then we'll handle it, bro.
He was offended, bro.
Bro, no, somebody. It was somebody that we all know.
Okay.
And he called. He was just giving feedback, bro. And
Was the feedback hostile?
no, it wasn't hostile. He was just giving feedback. He said the website was dope. He said
Which
the
he
podcast
never
is
submitted
dope.
for.
Yeah.
He never submitted for.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Shout out to all the S.A.L.T Society members, the inner crew.
That didn't submit.
Y'all still ain't sent me your stuff so I can get it on the website.
Sad day.
Bang, bang.
I count 6 shots.
To this day. Hey, you better call me back, bro. We need this for the podcast.
I'm a fun
I
guy.
appreciate your hard work and effort, bro.
I'm a fun guy.
I'm a fun guy. I said that this week and nobody got it.
This is really the greatest podcast ever. I want to tell you again, hashtag greatest podcast ever. When you share this link, please, everybody that's listening, listen, please go on iTunes and just leave a review for us. When you're listening, we're seeing hundreds of listens. We're seeing the subscribers, but we need to hear from y'all. Please leave comments. Tell us what you like. Tell us subjects you want us to talk about more, so we can grow, so we can get better. Please leave us reviews. Tell us how the stuff that we're talking about is impacting you. Let us know how it's sparking conversations in your car ride, in your household, with your children. Help us see, if there's things you don't agree with. We want to hear. Go on Facebook, like our page, S.A.L.T Society Podcast. Interact with us. You can join us if you really want to get a more personal connection with us. You can join the SALT family right there on Facebook. It's our Facebook group. We're going to be getting way more active with that here soon. But again, don't forget to check out the website as well. There's a lot more content on the website. Not only can you find all the podcast episodes, you can shop on there online. We got different kinds of shirts, hoodies, hats. We got bags. There'll be more stuff coming soon.
Get to the bag.
You definitely want to check out the website. We got a blog on there. We got many writers. Hey, if you want to be a blogger, if you would like to be published on a website and really be able to get your portfolio up and your writing credentials and just get some practice in writing, listen, we'd love for you to submit to the S.A.L.T Society Podcast. We'd love for you to write for us. We want to share your content. This is a community for everyone, for musicians, for creators, for artistics, for people that's working with children, for you football
For
coaches.
those who are attempting to be supreme with their art, their life, and their teaching.
Facts. So facts. So
It's
go
not
to
a
the
paid
website.
gig, but
No.
you will get exposure.
Yes.
It's funny because my rent just happens to be 1,400 exposures.
If you're working in your community and you're doing good in your community and you're giving back, we want to hear from you. You know, wherever you are, all over the country, all over the world, we want to hear from you. So go to www.thesaltsociety.com/contact. Click on Be a Guest. And that is the form that you will submit in order to be a guest on the S.A.L.T Society podcast. We will get you on the schedule. We'll call you live while we're recording the episode. We'll discuss your life. We'll discuss your dreams. We'll discuss what you're doing. Allow you to share your heart with the world. Share your heart with our viewership. We'll probably crack some jokes on you, so be ready.
Y'all got play.
On that note, I want to give a shout out to all those citizens that are, because of the shutdown, they're actually I was reading. Nobody talks about this, but they're actually bringing food baskets, gift cards to the TSA.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're giving out to different federal government workers. They're doing,
And that's what it's about.
Soldiers are actually leading a food drive.
Thank
for
you
them.
for your service, everyone.
Yeah, and I just think that is
amazing. That is amazing. That is what S.A.L.T Society is all about. That is what community is all about. That is what unity. That is what love is all about. To love your neighbor as you love yourself. Yeah. The Bible says, "Withhold no good from any man if it's in your power to do it." Right. So to see that people come together and we realize that could be any one of us. To see people uniting and trying to do the best that they
It wouldn't be
can.
me. It wouldn't be me. I'm just kidding. Look, shout out to everyone who is serving their country in any shape, size, or facet, especially during this time.
The views of J Nice the King. do not
But for real, thank you for everyone, man, because
To
like,
this
that's
day.
a thankless job, bro.
Yeah.
It
Facts.
really is a thankless job. Like everyone cracks on, especially TSA. Like we make a mockery of them, blame them for everything, like not even thinking about the fact that their aim is to protect us from, as we're going on our travels. So. And
Speaking of traveling, man, like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Speaking of traveling.
We've been light kind of, you know what I'm saying? It's been a great podcast though. It's been
bro, I had depressing story ready. I was ready to depress everybody.
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah,
what was your story,
ready.
bro? What's your story,
you ready to hear this? Let me read you the
He
first
said
line.
I had to cut the music, man. Cut the music.
Nah, put that-
He said depressing story.
depressing already,
It sounded
bro.
like he had some like worship. What was that, bro?
We're going to need to worship after this story, bro. Parents plan to sue school after boy, 10, hangs himself due to classmates' cruel taunt of his colostomy bag.
Oh my God.
Let me repeat this. Parents plan to sue school after boy, 10, hangs himself due to classmates' cruel taunts over his colostomy bag. So the story goes, a 10-year-old boy committed suicide on Saturday after his 5th grade classmates teased him for needing a colostomy bag. 7 Bridges, 10, it says hanged, but hung himself in a closet at his home in Louisville, Kentucky. His body was discovered by his mother, Tammy Charles, when she returned home from the grocery store at around 10:30 a.m. Her quote says, she's quoted in saying, "I saw my son dead." She was told that was something that stuck in her head. Seven's father, Donnie Bridges, was at church choir practice when Seven killed himself. For the few minutes that we left, he didn't want us to see that, he said. Seven's parents said he was repeatedly bullied by classmates at Carrick Elementary School, and they absolutely plan to take legal action against Jefferson County Public Schools. Jefferson County Public Schools, you failed my baby, his mom Tammy said. We just wanted to raise a happy kid, live our lives, and be okay. Yes, bro. This brought up an interesting story, interesting conversation I had maybe a year or two ago, right? We talked about bullies and we talked about bullying.
Yeah.
And maybe 2 years ago, there was a huge movement against bullying and stop bullying, anti-bullying campaigns and things of that nature. At the time, I was one of the people who was not for bullying, but I considered it to be just something normal. Like I was bullied in middle school. That was the only time.
I think we've all been victims of bullying.
And I think we've all bullied people unintentionally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
because it's the cool thing to do or whatever.
Exactly.
In the moment.
Right. this child, we made. I mean, think about it, it's embedded in our culture now. Like we call it joning or roasting or playing the dozens. Like we have made a cultural impact on just making fun of each other for the most part. But
we still do it. No, it's not
it.
for the most part. It's like you said. It's become so ingrained that we'll take somebody's real life experience and turn it into a meme video.
Right.
Turn it into a meme. You know.
Right.
We'll laugh, and I mean these things are shared on news channels and ESPN and by the celebrities, and it's literally what we do now. Like it is okay. It is celebrated. It is championed. You know, if you're able to be that person that can find the next clip that somebody else was embarrassed in and turn that into a funny meme or a funny meme video to get likes and get comments and to grow your popularity, this is what we do.
Yeah.
But we forget that our kids aren't ready for this drug called social media.
Right.
Would you give your child crack? Would you give your child cocaine?
Yo, why is Calvin stealing my bars, bro? He's stealing Jay's bars for all things.
I was gonna say, like, I don't think it's something new that is bullying, but I think the level of bullying and the level of being able to do it through social media.
Well, it is something that's new. It's because now it's called cyber bullying.
Well, I'm not even saying
that's
that,
like
he
new
wasn't
monster.
even doing that. Was it?
It didn't say
face to face, or
it didn't
was
say.
it? Either way,
Yeah.
I think part of the social media has taken people's ability to deal with those situations away from them because they can't deal with real life confrontations.
Right, they
because
can't deal
everything
with
is
it in
behind the
isolation.
computer
Yeah,
screen.
yep.
Like I don't even try to like argue with people on social media because it's pointless because people are not gonna like, especially if you can tell they're ignorant because they're just the way they talk or they get mad or do whatever. Oh, this, that, and the other. But the other thing is, that child didn't have the opportunity to learn how to cope with that bullying or that whatever because of the isolation that social media has caused. I think we're so in touch with everybody or so informed, but it's isolated everybody. Like we don't have that interaction with human beings as we did before back in the day when I was growing up.
And
But,
how old was he again? 7
He was
years?
10.
10 years
His name
old.
was 7.
Oh, okay.
But he was 10 years old.
10 years old.
He was in
Like
fifth
that.
grade.
Like my son just turned 11. Like
I was about to say my daughter is 10 right now.
That even shows you how graphic and the nature is of our culture, of the movies, of the TV shows, of the information stream that he has access to. Because how does a 10-year-old even know how to do that?
How to end his life.
The I don't know, like the maturity level too. Each person is not based on age. It's based on their coping skills and different things like that. And then on top of that, like we were talking about that 13 ways people are killing themselves after watching this video or whatever. I don't know.
This is a spirit. This is a spirit that is really, it's attacking our youth, and it's all intertwined with social media and image and culture. Like this is a really
there's
important
a lot
thing.
going on. I believe there's a lot going on here. A lot of things to
dissect.
One, bullying can lead to this, and it does teach you to be aware of how harsh your comments can affect people. Like they always say, like sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me. Like words are the most detrimental. And if you throw a rock at me, I'm like, yo, you crazy. You know what I'm saying?
The word says the tongue.
The life and death are in the power of the tongue.
Yes, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
We have a spiritual attack, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
goes to, I think Connect talked about it a moment ago, like one of the things that we need to learn to do, and I don't know how to go about it, but if someone would like to email the S.A.L.T Society podcast and talk about it, is to ingrain coping mechanisms in our children so that as we send them into the world, they're not devoured immediately. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that this is at all at the fault of the child.
We need, you know what? Honestly,
two ways right now.
Honestly, as a result of this conversation, I think a great person to get on the podcast would be Dr. Elizabeth Jennings, and she's a friend of ours. She has she's a life coach. She's a life coach. She has Remember You Matter life coaching. You can check her website out at rememberyoumattercoaching.com. she would be excellent in talking about this,
She's
especially
researched it
specifically for helping children. She has a children's book. Her and her kids just wrote. She's working with kids. She's working with veterans and recovering and helping to cope. So I definitely we had to get her on. But you're exactly right. This is exactly what's needed. We're not
like spiritually and mentally. Like we need to deal with the physical and the natural as well as the spiritual condition of this child. Like one of the things that hurt when I read it was that his dad was at choir practice, right?
Wow.
And I thought about, and I'm not at all blaming this church. I'm not at all blaming this church, but I thought about how many churches we go to that don't have youth organizations when worship service is going on.
Yeah.
And we will hold volunteers of a ministry accountable and almost as if they're villains if they don't align themselves with the visions of the pastor. But yet we don't have, at a lot of churches, I'm not saying all churches, we don't have a place to nurture the child while we are aiming to complete the work of God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like several churches don't have youth groups. You know what I mean? And if they do, they're not investing in them. And then when something like this happens,
it's an afterthought. And we've seen this firsthand because we've done literally hundreds of shows at over I'll say hundreds of churches, hundreds of shows at hundreds of churches over the last, 6, 7, 8, 9, actually over 10 years.
Yeah.
We've put on so many shows and we've seen it all. And we've seen the number one thing, if we could say there's one characteristic that we've seen in churches across the board, there's individual churches that are doing this very well.
Right.
But across the board, on average, churches do not put their time and energy and money into the youth programs of their ministries.
Right.
Not the education, not the level of teaching on scriptural mandates, not actually they treat the kids like they're only good enough to come and play video games and just be at another after school program. But these children really are capable of understanding the word of God, understanding principles about faith and identity and who God has called them to be, and all of these intangible things. Like we've bought into the lie as people of God that they're just adolescents.
Right.
Because we don't really have a real understanding. We don't understand that Mary and Joseph, the parents of Yeshua, that they were most likely 12, 13, 14 years old. Our concept of manhood and how people develop is so warped that we coddle our kids in the Christian community because we think, because they're our kids and we go to church and we're serving the Lord, they got it and they'll be good. And I know this firsthand. We know this firsthand. Growing up and our parents being elders and being ministers in the church and being pastors even, and the children can be left behind.
Yeah.
I know how it feels to be left behind. I know how it feels for my parents to be serving the Lord, but yet me and my 4 brothers and sisters, all of us, instead, it felt like once our parents became pastors, once my father became pastor, it was already 6 days a week growing up in Kojic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he was an elder. But once he became pastor, it was like we became members.
Right. Right.
And so many times, like with our children, we cannot forget they aren't just pawns in our life's game. They aren't just accessories to what we have going on. Like they aren't just members of our church. Like these are seeds. The Bible says, "Blessed is the man, happy is the man whose quiver is full. His children are like arrows in the quiver of the archer."
Right.
Like, can you imagine? Like, just for a second, picture that imagery. Picture the archer with his quiver full of arrows as he wants to defend himself or to make war. Archers will be placed on the edge of the wall to be the first line of defense if the enemy came to attack.
Right.
And so when we talk about legacy and when we talk about our future, we cannot forget our children. Because if we do not nurture them and sharpen them and equip them to be able to fly when we shoot the arrow, then not only will it be damaging to them, it'll be damaging to us. So this is important, man. whew, you got it stirred up, bro.
That was real.
That's-
That was real. Like I had a conversation with my daughter a few weeks ago, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? And something that just helped me to realize that she understands far more than I assume. Because oftentimes we teach our children to quote scripture, and we think that like if they can quote it, they know it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is great, by the way, because when they're older, that word that they can quote makes way more sense. You know what I'm saying? As they progress. But I had a conversation with her at one of my events, maybe when she was 8 years old. I was ministering or whatever, and they rushed to me, and she's like, Daddy, I gave my life to Jesus tonight. And I was just like, whoa, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Like a lot of things hit me at that time. Like one, why wasn't I there in that introduction? Because I walked under the assumption that because I was a believer and her grandparents were pastors, that she was already there. You get what I'm saying? Even though she's 8, like I'm not taking away anything from her. She made the decision on her own with one of my older mentors. Shout out to Lady Light. And I think my mother was there at the time as well. And she said that to me, right? So fast forward 2 years, my daughter says to me, you know, like giving my life to Jesus was probably one of the biggest decisions I've ever made. You know, and I'm driving her to school, so it's a passing conversation. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, sweetheart, like I totally agree. And she says, you know what though, Daddy? Like, I don't think I'm as good of a believer as I can be. And you know, she's 10 and I'm sitting there like, well, what do you mean? What do you think will make you better? And she's like, well, I made the confession, you know what I'm saying? But I haven't moved any grown in that anymore since then. Now, between the age of 8 and 10, that's her thought process that once I'm submitted to the Lord, I need to be making a growth towards his glory as we're moving. And so it immediately just shocked me and woke me up to how much more I want to pour into her. Spiritually.
Now
that's her desire is to be a better believer. And she started talking to me about how she prays at school with her friends and she wants to say her grace, but sometimes she's embarrassed. So she sits with the kids that she knows will say their grace with them and they get mocked. Even now, 4th graders, they're getting mocked for saying grace over their lunch and stuff like that. And so with all that being said, you know, I haven't been in the best physical shape and condition of my life within the last couple of years the last couple of months because some stuff happened to me. That, you know, I don't want to talk about it on the podcast, but, you know, my physical body was damaged. You know?
That's a testimony, bro.
Wait, what? Let God continue to work that testimony through me so that I can understand the necessity of it, and then I'll be way more willing to share it. However, she was asking me to come and pray with her. She's like, Daddy, come tuck me in. And that's when we pray. That's our prayer time. And so I was like, man, I don't feel like getting up right now. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, Daddy, come in. I'm like, if you don't go to bed, like, you know what I'm saying? And then my thought clicked immediately to what was her desire? To get closer to God, to have a better relationship with God. And I cannot hinder that because my flesh is weak for the moment.
Bro, I have those moments all the time, like where my daughter wants something, or, you know, my son, and you immediately in your inside, you're like, oh, I don't want to do it, you know, and then you stop and like, let me, or, you know, or just say something's too sharp to my daughter or my son, and then I have to go back. I'm sorry for speaking to you harshly, like. Just catching yourself in the moment, not feeling like you're justified to speak to your kids any kind of way, even to your wife any kind of way, just because you felt a way in the moment, and being humble enough to lead by example in apologizing and rectifying things. But anyway, we're gonna go right real quick to this special S.A.L.T Society announcement, and then we'll be right back.
Are you tired of feeling stuck in your current life? Do your children need motivation to excel? Hi, I'm Dr. Elizabeth Jennings. Let Remember You Matter help you learn to focus your attention to the present moment. We teach you mindfulness tools and strategies to enable you to overcome obstacles and live a happier life. Start living a life today that's full of mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual wellness. Call today or visit RememberYouMatterCoaching.com to start down a path to living a more balanced, empowered, and successful life.
So anyway, man, wrapping it up, man, I know that was a little heavy, that segment, but we really care about the youth. That's one thing that I have been trying to give back in that area for the last 5 or 6 years now, coaching youth football. I feel like it's like one of the best opportunities to touch. Pause. Like, whoa! I was about to say this. Touch young men. Whoa! I was saying touch young men's lives, but
wow, we're trying to go against that.
I mean, it's the best way. It's the best way in order to reach. Oh my God! See, this is culture right here, making you feel guilty for saying just something that's normal. Touch young men's lives.
You notice I didn't say nothing. I was like, they're gonna get him by himself, bro. Jay Nice was staring at his phone in the clip, wasn't paying attention to what was going on.
To reach young men, though, for real, and mentor, educate, and really help them to believe in themselves.
Wow.
To believe in themselves. Man, they're gonna cool. I'm gonna edit that one out. I don't know. What is going on? I'm trying to talk about.
What's the random clip?
I'm trying to talk about this, but anyway, so that can lead like this toxic culture, this self-esteem, this social media era, this Me Too era, this confused era. Like, when I sit down and talk to my son about relationships and sex, it's going to be a very different conversation than what our generation received or the generation before. Like, this is not. It's a whole different game. It's still the same principle though. I do believe more than ever that waiting till marriage has to be the solution. Like, waiting till I'm just in a monogamous, like, that sounds crazy to a lot of people, but man, it will save so much heartache. Like, the conversation I'm having with my son though is gonna be real, like, because he's living in a time where he may meet a girl that he thinks is really beautiful, and it may be a man.
That's true.
And I would hate, like, I don't know I have to be prepared for the day that my son possibly calls me and says he met a girl and he thought she was cute, but it was a man.
Whoa.
What do I do?
Bro, this is the first thing.
What do I do, Dad?
I have advice for men over 30. Well, bro, I had to. No, thank you, Holy Spirit. I had a joke, and the Lord was like, "No, sir." But I told everybody, every man over 30, this is my rule for you, and it'll keep you safe. If you're over 30 and she ain't got kids, don't risk it, bro. Don't risk it, bro. Make sure you get a family lady. I need baby pictures.
Over 30 and no children.
If you're over 30 with no kids, you a female, you sus.
Because these days you can't even check the neck.
Nah,
like,
bro.
They
got the surgery to trim it. Like,
so listen, we wanted to talk about this, and bring awareness to this and just discuss it really as quickly as possible that, Chris Brown, he was sued for rape allegations, and apparently out the gate, this doesn't seem to be truthful. Bro, you just blew whatsoever.
Right by that. Chris Brown. Read it. Say it again.
Chris Brown has been accused of rape. Now, he, according to Vibe magazine, Chris Brown is going to sue this rape accuser for defamation. He vigorously challenges the charges against him. Chris Brown is reportedly gearing up to take legal action against the women who accused him of raping her at a hotel in Paris. The singer will reportedly sue her for defamation, TMZ reports. Brown's Parisian lawyer, Raphael Chique, says his client adamantly denies the allegations and plans to challenge them in court. Chris Brown is free. No lawsuits were filed against him, Chique said in a statement. He vigorously challenges the charges against him. A complaint for slanderous denunciation will be filed tomorrow with the public prosecutor of Paris. And it goes on to say another woman also jumped to the singer's defense, stating that he was not at the scene at the time of the alleged assault. So he is free to leave the country, but there is an official investigation into the alleged incident ongoing. So this is just another one of the things that is a problem, an issue right now with our culture, and it seems very shaky, the timing, being that Chris Brown just became like the youngest artist on a major. Like, a lot of people are like, he's not the first artist or the youngest or something because, we own our, like, I was on a live with Canyon or whatever, and they were like, we own our masters. Like, we all own our masters. I got all my masters too, but like, he's on a major label, and he's the youngest to own his masters, and that's very dangerous.
Very big fact.
And Chris Brown has always been a target.
Bro, people lose their lives over their masters.
Chris Brown, they love to pick on Chris Brown. Matter of fact, they love to take the black man down.
Who's they?
The white man.
Yo, I said, who is they? Connect spoke up the white.
Drop bombs.
Day
400 years still fighting.
to this day.
To this day.
Still fighting.
So that's what you think it is? You think that the accusations are due to the fact that he is...
I think it's mighty suspect. I really don't believe in coincidence. And I really believe, Chris Brown is
Do you think the white man's behind accusations?
Chris Brown is at a level to where he's somebody they always try to come at to tear down. Because of the way, ever since the Rihanna thing, that's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And yet they still try to box him in.
And he was a
label
child.
him.
He was 17 years old when that happened. Like,
17
we still like
years.
to put it on him like he was a grown man. But
This man was a teenager. He had a fight. Nothing justifying his actions. But he was a product of his environment. But he's completely changed his life. He's not that person
Can I
anymore.
offer a counter argument though?
I commend him though for not having any other incidents until
No
Not
other
being nobody else
incidents.
in the last year.
No other incidents.
No, I'm gonna just play
But
like
yeah,
mind
we
you.
got these sick pedophilia
Oh snap!
inclined senators in Congress.
Oh snap!
These sick pedophilia, sick, nasty men that like to mess with little girls and like to mess with little boys and like to fly over to Thailand and go do nasty, illicit things. But you want to sit up on your self-righteous high horse. I'm
the
talking
government
about
dime.
you.
on the government's dime.
See, this ain't the podcast where we're going to be afraid to talk about anything.
That's him. I'm very uncomfortable right now.
I do not vouch for what is being said.
No,
at this moment.
I agree. I don't even think it's just though the black man. I think it's power.
Power.
Once any man has earned power on their own without using.
Yeah, because there's black people that get up to power and turn and do the same thing. That's why an interesting way that I heard it said by Dick Gregory in one of his interviews. I loved. Shout out to Baba Dick Gregory.
Pause.
You know what I'm saying? He's one of
Don't be a Richard.
He's one of the he's one of the true elders that has passed away from the old regime. He's one of the last. A lot of them have fallen out, and we need new Huey P's. We need new Marcus Garveys, and they're rising up. We need them though. We need more. We need more revolutionaries. We need more Tupacs. We need more Frank Hamptons.
Whoa.
Tupac was better than Biggie.
We need more Fred Hamptons. You know what I'm saying? We need more Angela Davises.
We need more people that are sparking those thoughts and making it to where you break out of the social norm and being the led sheep. You know what I'm saying? And being willing to think for yourselves. We need free thinkers.
Yeah.
That is what we need. Like, we need people who are...
Yep.
And we need to create the platform for that, too. Like, we need to create a free space for someone to have an insane thought process.
This is your space.
Challenging.
This is your space. We are calling out to the universe, calling out to all of those who feel they just don't understand. Like, they don't feel like they're black. They don't feel like they're white. They feel like they're a child of the Most High.
They feel like
Let me
they're
tell
OJ.
you, this is your place. Because Psalms 82:6 says, "I say that ye are gods, and ye all
I
are
just
children
wanted to say
of the
this.
Most High."
On the record, I'm not white. I'm DJ Connect.
Facts. Top bombs on him. To this day.
To this day.
But now, what I want to say before
Why is it if
I don't think it's black white. Look, I was gonna say the
Yeah,
quote
'cause-
from Dick Gregory was that he said that black and white is not a skin color thing. Black and white is status. It's white people that's black, just like it's black people that's white, because
that's
it's
what I
a
was gonna say,
status.
like,
Being white is a status. When you're the 1%, you're white, but you're different shades of white even when you're there, because the lowest totem pole on them is, the doctors and the lawyers. Like, they're the low 1%.
But if you look at it just by statistics,
Yeah.
and the pure population, and let's not look at it as per like black people versus white people.
Yeah.
If you look at the number of white people, there's more white people in poverty than black people. Just by pure numbers.
Yeah, because there's more white people.
Because there's more white
That's
people.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But yet, and if I was to try to help a white person or a white community or whatever, I'm racist because I'm trying to help the white man.
Yeah, they will make it seem like
You know what I'm saying?
can
Like-
only help your own.
Yeah.
Why is that, man? Like I don't understand
I
why
can tell you
people
why,
are
because-
uncomfortable with somebody being pro, like for other people that look like them.
I can understand it though, because systematically the odds of finding someone who is Caucasian and not progress are far lower than those
But
who
that's
have
not
a
true.
system.
Like you just go into
Let me finish my thought, brother. Let me finish my thought. But here's what I mean. The American system is designed to be beneficial to those who are of European descent because they are the ones who create the laws. So they create them to be beneficial to themselves. You know what I'm saying? And because culturally they say
That's
we
good,
all
that's
agree
good.
upon this thought as being good. Like perfect example, when you hear somebody say, that's ghetto, what they're really saying is that is demeaning and lower than me culturally speaking.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're not saying like that's black or that's white. They're saying that behavior is beneath us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Now with that being said, the system is, and this by the system I mean the laws, the governing effects, the banks who like for example,
But the
insurance. Like now that I'm
banks-
doing insurance and I'm finding out that people of color
Yep.
insurance rates are higher because they view
Yep.
them as more of a liability.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Than an asset. Like that's a crazy thought. So
Yep.
systematically, it's not. So then, when you see somebody white helping someone else white, you're like, why would you help them when they already have enough help? I'm not saying that's true. I'm saying
But
that's the
thought
stigma. That's the
process.
thought.
But that's
yeah.
the stigma also that, but there's been laws that have been reversed not to do that. So far as like affirmative action and stuff
Right.
like that. So I don't think it's as prevalent now as it was in the revolution time frame when they were making the laws. But they also have made amendments to those laws to change a lot of that. And
But I think a lot is left to be said too.
Do you
though,
think it's
for-
crazy that we even have to have affirmative action?
Well,
Like the
here-
fact that we
but
have to
that's
have
the
it.
elephant-
That's what I'm saying, is
elephant in the room,
I used
though.
to be very, I don't know. I want to say I hate that, but I've seen affirmative action where it go against me. Okay, if they're white, they're not getting hired because they didn't meet their quota or whatever.
We gotta really talk
yet
about the
that
elephant in the room, though.
But that white person was more educated or better suited for that
More
job.
qualified.
More qualified. That's what I was.
But see,
looking
if you
for.
think culturally, though, even though you are more qualified, the diversity is what helps to improve a company.
I
Even
agree
if you
with-
find
I
somebody
agree
who's
with
more
that,
qualified, but
but-
you didn't meet a quota, then you might need to meet that quota in order for your business to continue to grow.
But that not necessarily, because if that person's not qualified to help your business grow, then
Let me ask you this:
know what I'm
Do you think that from slavery until now, being slaves for hundreds of years, being released, no land, no economic help whatsoever, no education because for hundreds of years y'all weren't allowed to read, you were stripped from your language and heritage, then being released into a culture where you're basically just being free to starve. Then 20, 30 years later, they pass a law that makes it legal for you to be a slave again. So then you get rounded up and criminalized for simple things such as jaywalking. And those become the chain gangs, which build the railroad system.
what is it?
I'm still not finished. They build the intercontinental railroad system on the backs of chain gangs, just like they built the economy of this off of the backs of the slaves. Like the whole wealth, everything. But then after that, then they passed Jim Crow laws, even as high as the Supreme Court, to build a whole entire system to hold you down. This is the 1900s. This isn't even that far along. Then less than 50 years ago, we just now recently, like 50 years is not long ago, get civil rights bill, and there still was KKK that existed, and many of these were law enforcement people. These were people that were judges, police officers. These are documented facts. Like we have people that have infiltrated the KKK, found out of these things. We're living in a system
I do
that's
want to
not
see that
too
movie
far
still.
removed. Yeah, I've watched that movie. So
I do. It seems
all of those factors in being said, and acknowledging forthwith that yes, there's plenty of people today in 2019, black and white, whatever, that are living in poverty that could be living better, right? They make enough, and they have poor spending habits. They have poor.
But I would
there's plenty-
challenge-
and there's people that's poor. There's people that like I saw somebody like that was he was talking about his past undiscipline, right? He's doing well now financially, but he was like, man, 4 years ago I was single, making $60,000, living in an apartment, living check to check. Why? Because I had no discipline. So there's people at all financial levels that are their issue, their situation is their own. But systemically and historically and just as a people, when we're talking about generational wealth and heritage and all of these things, and we know all of the factors of the slave, like that is that's a thing that if we talk about this inequality, these disparities, we can't, like that can't be not talked about. People say like it's no longer effective, but it is. It's still
I'm not
a
saying
major.
that it's completely gone.
Yeah, no. And my question, that whole setup was more. I was saying, how do you, as a white man, you know what I'm saying, like as that is you're our
of
brother,
Celtic
like,
descent.
Yeah. Like, what is your opinion? Because I see this is something I really seriously wrestle with myself. Like, where's the line we draw with, you know, not being victims, but at the same time still advocating and saying, hey, there is for lack of a better number, 400 years to this day.
To this day.
Facts, like.
And to this day. To this day.
400-year gap or head start, if you will, that there really has not been anything to close that gap, to rectify. There's been.
I think the gap has been closed. I think that also that the political opinions and political views that.
So you think the gap from all these years of slavery and everything has been closed?
I'm not economically
and systemically for black people.
I'm saying like
in America.
I'm not saying like the gap is closed like to where you guys are. I'm gonna say.
So you're saying the gap is closed some?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, and
true. That's true.
I mean, we had a black president, so I mean, you've got to admit that.
Actually, I don't know, bro. I debate that to this day.
Yeah,
Barack Obama had a father of African descent. He was raised by the white portion of his family in white neighborhoods and white.
But that doesn't mean he's still.
No, what it means is This is what it is.
Hey, he had Michelle holding.
I will say. I will.
Michelle, we have a black first lady.
I will keep it real with you, like, you know, and this is from when you study Black history, and a great resource, just Destruction of Black Civilization, great resource that kind of will give context and clarity.
Okay.
But I've read other books.
But if you want to go deeper than that,
he's considered a mulatto.
Yeah.
They've always historically, even in the conquest of Africa, in the conquest of any dark culture or anything, they've always, even in slavery, we could just talk about slavery in America. Yeah. There's times where when the slave master will rape the slave women, and they would produce a mulatto child. If the child was light enough, the child would be allowed to live in the house as the son of the master. Right. If they were a little bit too dark, they weren't passable to sit at the table, then they would be what you would call a house Negro. Yeah, but they would be one or the other. So
are you gonna keep?
No. I'm saying this is a prevailing theology.
But that's what I'm trying to.
They didn't consider him black.
Okay, well, it doesn't. That's part of the problem I have with you rejected my ghetto pass or my black card.
Yeah.
Because if I made it successful out of the hood, then the black culture turns their back on those successful ones, or the successful ones turn their back on the hood, or whatever, vice versa.
Right.
And that's why one of the reasons why I applauded LeBron's, because he went back to exactly his hood, and is making a significant change. Maybe not to today, but generations to come. I
want to make sure you answer my question, because I guess I've been trying
to answer your question, but you keep bringing up all this other history that has nothing to do. But I'm trying to say, and not just American history. We got to even go further back to when the African tribes enslaved their other African tribes when they went into war, and it wasn't even the African tribes; it was the Muslim or the people that came through and took over Africa.
If you're gonna bring that up, though, you have to keep it in balance, because
y'all are getting far off. What's the question?
Yeah, that's all I want to say. The question is, do you think that it was still that the gap has been closed, and also
yes, the gap has been closed. I mean,
and how important is that in the conversation when we're talking about equality and these type of things? Because I think that's a major factor.
But you also have to balance it out with, okay, like you said, whether I'm in the victim or am I moving forward and prospering.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think I've brought up in the past is why is every culture that has come after, because let's face it, the African American culture has been here longer, but the same amount of time as white culture.
Right.
Because
you're saying how has white culture been able to take over everywhere?
No, he's saying every other nationality has progressed.
That's not even.
No, I'm trying to follow you.
No, you're basically making every white person. You're doing the same thing that the CNNs, every other is making a white man trying to be guilty. Like I should feel guilty for what.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not trying. I'm not even saying that.
That's exactly what you just said. You said
no,
the white
I said
taking over everything.
No, white. I'm saying Europeans have conquest the world.
Stop.
That's not a lie.
What I'm trying to bring up.
Thought process.
What I'm trying to bring up is the Black American culture has been here since the white American culture. Whether it was equal or not, we've been here the same amount of time.
Right.
So the gap was set then, because not only and it wasn't even the white culture that was enslaving them. There was Native Americans that had black slaves because they sold, they bought. That's how it was. But I'm trying to say is because of our laws, and we realized how dumb it was, and how we can't be a nation under God and still have a enslaved culture. Okay, then on top of that, the political system is geared to keep you in that mentality.
Okay,
and what I'm trying to say that is okay. What even some of the prominent black leaders, they've been strategically in place to keep the suppression real. Does that make sense?
So if I'm understanding what you're saying,
and I'm saying is if you keep playing that and keeping people feeling sorry for themselves, or keeping them on welfare, keeping them on uneducated, or keeping them in a certain society, they're going to stay in that society. They're going to stay in that case, and when they break out, they're gonna either turn their back on that because they're appalled at how it was. How they were brought. It's the same with like the education system or what we talked about earlier.
So
what I'm saying
can I say something real quick, like in response to
ahead.
No, what I'm saying is I want to just provide clarity, because like you said that I'm just making it like making white men feel guilty. Not once did I say that.
But
everything that I said was factual.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is you just said, the white man's taking over everything.
Listen, bro. European culture has taken over the world and conquest the world. That's not a negative thing to say. That's not negative. You're saying that I'm saying the white man.
Current.
That's still right now. You're saying that white culture does not control the world? White Jewish culture does control the world. Okay, they are the bankers. They own the media. They own the music industry. This is white Jews who aren't even real Israelites. They're Khazar Jews.
And how
They're converted.
How does that relate to me?
So I'm saying that relates to all of us. I didn't come at white people. I didn't say that.
You did come at white people.
No, you said
that white people
I'm making all white men to feel guilty because, and I'm not saying that.
Yes,
you feel guilty because you're white, but that's facts. It's facts that Europeans run the world.
From where I'm standing,
you don't think Europeans run the world? If you don't believe that, then I don't know what to tell you. It's facts.
I'm not talking about that.
If you study the banks and study the richest people in the world, how many of them are white?
Yo, I'm on the outside of the conversation.
How many of them are white?
It's nothing to what I'm trying to say right now.
I'm watching both of y'all trying to talk right now, and I'm hearing both people's perspective and view, right? And I think oftentimes this happens as a conversation is connect. Let me know if I'm right or wrong. What you're saying is that although there were times of oppression, this current time we live in has opened that door to where anybody can achieve success. Now.
I'm saying that our country as a whole has started reversing some of the mistakes that we made in the past, closing the gap, allowing, not necessarily closing it to where it's equal now, but allowing it to get where it could
that we're progressing towards equality.
Progressing towards that. Now, a world situation is completely different. What we're talking about, an American situation.
And Calvin, so what you're saying
The world,
is
you keep throwing a macro thing over what a micro subject that we're talking about.
Well, see, I think y'all are having two different conversations. I think that's the issue. Is that
you're trying to put a full cover blanket over a macro situation when I'm saying
so
the
you're
macro,
calling United States the micro and the world the macro.
correct.
But I still think the micro reflects the macro. The micro of the United States economy and culture is controlled by rich European white men. There is white culture, white perspective. The prevailing culture of the United States does not reflect at all for the black people. For black men, you can't convince me of that. You can't convince me that this culture
I'm
reflects.
not trying to convince you of anything.
It's not a multi-ethnic. It's not a culture that's multi-ethnic or conducive. Like there's people right now that there's young girls. Last year there was a young black girl who was told that she could not come back to school because she wore her hair natural. Yeah. There's a young boy that was wrestling last year that was told that we had to cut his dreads in order to compete. I could go on it like this is just.
There's also a young black girl that killed herself because she was friends with a white person. So you want to get down that same road? So she killed herself because she was getting teased by a black person. This is the part.
This is the part of like this is what frustrates me. Please let me tell you what's frustrating me.
What's frustrating is you never even let me finish. You want to
because the stuff that you're saying because you just said. Listen, in your response to what I said, I wasn't maliciously saying that Europeans controlled. I wasn't saying that in a malicious way. But you heard that and said to me, you heard that and said to me that I am making every white person feel guilty, and that's what set me off. I just want you to know what set me off because you saying that is not how I feel. That does not reflect me. I don't think that I'm not saying you need to feel guilty for being white. I'm not saying that. And that's how you feel. You've said that before. You said you feel guilty for being white, and I'm not trying to talk. I'm not trying to make you feel guilty for being white.
Okay, but what your statement is saying is that all white people are in control of everything.
Bro, I said white. No, that's not what I'm saying. That's what you're hearing. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying white culture and ideology, white money, white culture runs the world right now. It's facts. This is not a lie. What's not factual about that?
Who is the one that has always pointed out the different people who run the world? I have.
I feel you.
I know exactly who runs the world. I know that the Fed is controlling a private entity who controls you want to call the world interest rates now, because a lot of the world is controlled by what the U.S. is doing.
Okay, I agree.
What I'm trying to say is the situation has changed in America. All right? Now, across the world, it's not just the whites that are suppressing people. There's a lot of the Arabic cultures that are suppressing and trying to take over different parts of northern Africa that you're talking about.
Bro, but even if you even mention Arab, that's what is so sad. If you mention Arab and if you don't understand the European influence and conquest of the Arab,
I know exactly what it is.
So did you know that Europeans mixed their seed with pure Arabs who used to be just straight black, and that's how you get. You know that
talking about something that's thousands of years in the making,
but it's still relevant.
But I think that's always a conversation.
But that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the American situation, the American society right now.
Can I speak for a moment? Can I speak just really quickly? Because I'm listening to both of y'all's conversation and I listen to all of these podcasts. But what I realize oftentimes is the conversation is always that of current world news versus historic world news. And I see that constantly being a battle within the S.A.L.T Society podcast as a whole. Connect. I just want to be clear at this. You're saying now in America that there's more of an opportunity for all people of colors, and you're seeing that gap of prejudice close.
I didn't even get to finish my statement, so I don't know what I said.
No, but I mean, do you?
Well, no. What I'm trying to say is, I think that there's a fine line between knowing exactly what your history is and using that to be pushed into a victim role.
Right.
And with politicians, they are very good at doing that.
Facts.
Period. And what I think that is when you start educating yourself and you're learning that what that system is in place, you can therefore push yourself past that situation.
Right.
Okay. I agree with that too.
And what I think that a lot of it, and we'll say less, I I don't know, developed countries that are still in the situation where there's still slavery, there's still an oppression. I mean, even in South Africa right now, there's huge, the Civil War is not that far from removed in South Africa. What I'm saying is, and you're saying like the whites, they were controlling the system and they were pushing out the tribal members and they were not allowing them to be. It's basically like America all over again in the 21st, or not, I want to say 21st century, but you get what I'm saying. Like today's the 2000s,
right?
And that's why I can't even think of his name, was put in jail, and then he's a
Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, there you go. For doing the same, he's basically doing in a more harsh way, more harsh country than what MLK was doing, and fighting for the rights for that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is you cannot blanket every white person for what less than 1% of the world's doing.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm doing.
The leadership and what you're trying to say is, okay, the white man is trying to keep not every white man. How many white people died for the civil rights of black people? Listen,
okay. If I say that I know about how many white abolitionists. It was white abolitionists that helped people like Frederick Douglass they bought his freedom for him and allowed him to go. Listen, you don't want to talk to me about the role of white people helping black people. You right now are white and we're here. So when I say that white men are running the world, European white culture and ideology is running the world, I'm not putting a blanket on all. I think this whole interaction, I'm glad this happened right here on the podcast amongst brothers. Because this, I think, is the main thing when this particular discussion between black people, white people, and in general, as soon as I say white men run the world, it's heard as I'm saying all, and I'm not. Listen, I'm just trying to be clear. I'm not saying all.
But you have to be careful with that statement.
No. But listen.
You have to be careful because right now in this current time,
let me ask you a question. How do you think I feel as a black man? Listen, pause for a second. That. Exactly. Like, so for this split moment, just for this conversation, when I just say white men control the world, I'm not saying all. I'm not saying all white men are this, because here's how you know. If we're saying we're leading with love, if you know I love you and don't think that of you, then you have to know that when I say white men are running the world, I'm not putting a blanket on all white people.
I don't consider myself as one of the ones running the world, so I don't.
But I'm saying even the 1% that you just talked about, we know about the Federal Reserve, we know about the hidden hand. If we'll just say it like that, we know the hidden hand. And like at the end of the day, and we know the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Bilderbergs, we know these families or whatever. So it's a general statement that is very, very, very factual. But we could say I
understand that, but in my current and not mine, but in the current situation where especially with the racial tensions in the U.S. and the way that things are being reported, it is very much so that people are trying to make a person feel guilty for being white.
I agree. But how much more so do people make us as black people? They've always made us feel guilty for being black. Like if you're saying you feel that, then you're feeling just a snippet of what black people have felt since we've been in this country.
What I'm trying to get at, you can't say always or never.
Black people have always in United States on this soil been made feel guilty for being our skin color. So that is facts. Always. Still in 2019, you're made to feel guilty for being black. Yes, facts. It hasn't changed.
You can't say that if other people are still trying to be.
But as I'm talking about the culture, I'm talking about globally.
So again, I'm
not talking about micro situations. I'm talking about the culture of the United States, even just Texas. I'm talking about globally. The diaspora of black people globally, we've been made to feel guilty for being black. The white people don't suffer from that issue more than black people.
But why is that?
What do you?
But why is that?
Because of racism, white supremacy.
No, because there's you're taught in that circle. Just like if I was to be taught in a circle where I was in a clan's area,
right.
If I'm taught in circle,
I see what you're saying. You're saying why does that prevail? You're saying why does it persist?
Yes, it persists.
Okay, why? Yeah. So the reason is white supremacy, but you're saying why does white supremacy continue.
I'm not just saying white supremacy in general, but they're in a black culture, and this is from what I've experienced, and I'm not saying you guys, but what I've experienced, because I've lived in these neighborhoods, that's where I'm from, they are taught that every white person is the enemy.
Right, I got you. And I'm and
that is just as counterproductive as trying.
And
that's
not true. That's not true.
At all.
I had white friends growing up. I had several white friends growing up.
Can I say something?
But that's not productive.
Okay.
That's not productive.
No, that's not productive.
And then,
but okay.
And then we have a political system that feeds on that and allows you to stay in that situation because you think that they're going to help you.
Well, here's the part, and I'll let you say the part that's hard to connect is that if somebody's growing up raising black children and trying to teach them about the history of black people in America, the history of black people in history globally.
I'm not saying don't teach them.
No. It's hard to teach them about
and not get that bitter feeling.
Right. It's hard to teach the facts of what's happened and them not develop a white man as the enemy complex.
Let me be clear on something with this as well. I'm sorry, Barbara.
No, you good.
Let me be clear on something really briefly. Is that I am someone who knows that not every white person is the enemy. Am I correct?
Yeah.
But I was also someone who was raised by a Southern black woman who had an 8th grade education.
Yeah.
Who taught me and who said to me, "Is your teacher white? Is your teacher black? White or color?"
Yeah.
And I said, "She's Hispanic." And my grandmother
this got real deep. Like,
no, very quickly. So and my grandmother said to me, "If they are not black, they are white." And my thought process at that age was like, that's not accurate, but she old, so I'm gonna let her have this conversation, right? But what someone who was uneducated was trying to do at that moment was prepare me for the fact that not all white people are evil or all white people are trying to attack us, but there is a majority who want to make me feel lesser than. Now, whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. But what I do know
she's coming from, because
that's what I'm saying.
She grew up, was it Alabama or
she grew up in Florida?
Florida.
Southern Florida.
So southeast,
right? For sure.
The prime location,
for sure.
Of
so
all
what
that
happens
situation.
is
so take this from me, okay, and I know this firsthand, and this is what was appalling to me.
Yeah,
and very, very eye-opening, I should say. When I grew up, I was growing up in the city where I was growing up in different locations. I literally was mixed with everybody, and I literally was growing up, didn't have an inkling of what it was to think lesser of a different race.
Right.
Okay, and when I'm saying that is, I literally didn't see color to the aspect of that.
Right.
When I moved to Alabama, and I moved to Birmingham, it literally was in a black neighborhood and was shunned.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm talking like it was. I don't want to say reverse. It is
for being white.
For being white. And I see why they did that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's right or wrong.
It's not right or wrong, but you understand it.
I understand.
Right.
I understand the situation. When and then I moved to this country little podunk town, and I hung out with black people because I'm used to that. That's who I hung out with, and I listened to the non-country music or whatever you want to call it. Like, it was garbage, and I was called the N lover.
Yeah.
Like, this was
we gotta get that.
1990s.
He divorced his wife because she was cool.
But and then on top of that, my elementary school, or no, not my middle school, which I still went to, was called the Inn Hill.
Yeah. Wow.
Because that was where primarily the blacks lived.
That's what they call East.
That was the middle. That was the middle. The middle school name. The official name,
that's
or
what
that's what they called it.
That's what they called it.
I mean, they do that in East Austin now. For those who live in like Kyle, Buda, Bastrop area,
but they're trying to get them out. You know, there's tech companies.
No, I'm well aware. I'm well aware. But the point that I'm trying to get to, because I'm hearing both arguments, I agree with both. I do want to say America is more open now than it ever has been.
I agree.
In order for a minority to be successful. However, the parallel that I want to draw is if there is a buffet banquet somewhere with free food, and for centuries only one race went there, and then they just said, "Hey, it's open," but never gave anyone directions. Then we can't say, "Hey, y'all dumb for not going." the majority of those people
drop bombs for that analogy.
Like for the majority
To this
of,
day.
and I don't want to even say just black people, but the majority of minorities after, like, perfect example, once slavery
Yo,
ended,
you know what? I just realized that we caused this by playing that Deontay.
but the majority
we got this energy going
for sure.
of this.
But the majority of the reason why the systematic oppression has gone on for generations, even though now a lot of people are moving away from it. And I know a lot of people trying to make fun of the Kardashians, but I think they're doing huge strides towards mending racial reconciliation by mistake.
Regardless of how it happened.
Right.
Even though they're cursing everybody.
Hey, shout out to Meek Mill too. Meek Mill just started. They just started a justice reform. You can go follow it on Instagram at Reform.
But see, that's how we get educated.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that is different about the black community is we get educated by falling and bumping our heads. And the reason Meek even has to do a reform is because of the fact that the systematic oppression for the jail sentences and the way that we hand them out is done incorrectly. The fact that the law in California may not be a law in Georgia is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's
crazy.
ridiculous.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
There needs to be continuity. You got continuity with all the drug laws and stuff.
And the laws are harsher in urban communities. That's just a fact. So I do think that Connect is right in saying the fact that we're open now. Anybody can achieve success.
Yeah.
However, I do want to say that it's like when you play Mario Brothers, right? And World 1 is a lot simpler than it is in World 8. Yeah. And it's like starting a smaller people group in World 8.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was trying to make my point too is okay, why after the fact of all these different laws that have gone in place. Yeah. And then also Mississippi just made slavery legal in 96. So it's like, I understand.
That's crazy.
You know, I get it.
It was still legal just
in 96. I was
22 years ago. That's crazy, bro.
But what I'm trying to make my point is there if I was to help a white person, it would be looked down on.
Yeah. And that's wrong. That's wrong.
It would look down and try to make me feel guilty because white people run the world. But then if I try to help a black person, that goes unnoticed, or not unnoticed, but that just kind of like swept under the rug.
You think so?
Well, maybe not to that.
Because I don't know if you are aware. I don't know if you're aware of this. Just you specifically. I'm not talking about all white people. You are heralded in the Christian urban community as somebody who does help. Like you specifically. I don't think you may not know because
for you helping. But listen,
I'm gonna say this, and I'm not saying this because he's on the show.
That's facts.
But if you think about every important movement that has been done in Christian urban music, I want to say hip hop, in the South, you are a part of. Yeah. Like, so I don't want you to think that what you're doing is going on.
And just so you know, like this is all love. Like, this is where we're able, like, we don't get to have these conversations with other people, so we got to let it out to each other. But like,
I just get frustrated when it's just not. I don't know.
I know where your frustration comes from, and I'm coming from like saying, where's the balance? How do we find the balance?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are helping. Trying to reverse this situation.
Yeah. And that's great. That's a fact. Connect is one of those people. Like, I'm not
has
saying
to be a lot of help from the other side too.
Yeah. Yes. And the main thing I'm saying is this: like the same way. I love how you made the point. You know, if you help another white person, then you're looked at as racist. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
But when black people. And this is historically, we can look back. You know, we just hit
same with the black person.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We just hit 100 years of the anniversary of Black Wall Street. If you've never heard of Black Wall Street, if you've never heard about Black Wall Street, go research it. It happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma. There was hundreds of businesses. They literally had built a totally black community that were thriving. There were many millionaires in the.
They were creating their own currency.
They were creating their own currency, their own economy, and literally. They flew over this community and dumped gas on it and bombed it and burnt it to the ground because it was they basically crop dusted them and burned it to the ground. And the reason why I make that example because that's only 100 years removed. That's my grandfather is 90 years old, and when he was born, that was only 10 years removed from his lifetime, and he's still alive. Yeah. So. I mention that because when white people help other white people, we want to call them racist. But when black people unite and try to really help themselves and pull themselves up from their bootstraps, they're looked at as a threat.
Right.
Whether it was Marcus Garvey, whether it was Black Wall Street, whether it's
Martin
the
Luther King,
Panthers, whether it was
Huey P.
MLK,
Newton,
whether it's the Black Panthers, who were literally they were making sure medicine was getting to the hood. They were giving kids free lunch every day, breakfast every day. They were policing the police. They're the reasons that they went and passed gun laws in California so strict, because they were exercising their rights legally.
Yep.
They
Same
were
with the
actually
Crips. They're very original Crips.
The Crips, like, so that's the part that we have to try to. That's the part what I there's my frustration is that we've done the things like you said, like how you allude to there being opportunity. There's been many examples we've had of people taking advantage of the opportunities, uniting in the black community, and every time this has happened, those organizations are literally attacked and demonized and looked at as a threat. They don't want black messiahs. They don't want black organizations, and they've been destroyed. I mean, the Black Panthers literally were targeted by the FBI.
What was it you that posted that psychologist was talking about the when they started coming up, they destroyed the vocational rehab in high schools.
Yep.
Where they could graduate. I think it was in New York.
Or I think that might have been a clip of Dr. Umar or maybe somebody else. I don't know, but I know what you're talking about.
Where he basically like the culture was
deindustrialized.
Yep. Because they didn't have a skill set, and that's very true to this day.
Yeah.
And that's America wide, because they pushed this debt in college and all this other stuff on people so much that there's a shortage of
specialized jobs.
Like carpenters.
Bro, we're batteries, bro. Like, like the Matrix is true. It's real. We're
it's
batteries.
So real, bro. That's my.
1%.
If you talk about series, that is right there. Like Forrest Gump is my favorite. Training Day, and then the Matrix trilogy. Like that is such a beautiful. I think
The Lion King's the greatest movie of all time.
Bro,
I'm dead serious. I'm not kidding.
It's very, very.
I think that is the greatest movie of all time. It's the only movie that reached every audience, every age, every people group. Right. And it told a story that we all needed to hear. It also had to do with betrayal, love, adoption, corruption, and power.
Prodigal son, because he came back.
That movie was incredible. I think that's the best movie ever made. It's not my favorite. I just think it's the greatest movie ever made.
It is a great.
The other thing,
but you know what's even greater outside is just like the original Lion King that was stolen from.
What is it? Kimba, the white lion or whatever.
You know they're coming back out with another one.
Yeah.
They're doing a live action Lion King and Dumbo. But Disney is taking over this year.
Walt Disney.
Oh, that reminds me.
Walt Disney stole his ideas from.
Wait, but why are we so mad about that, bro?
Stole his ideas from Biggie Smalls.
I'm about to tell you that. For real, Disney's taking over the world. Like,
no, I believe that for sure.
I'm about to tell you why in just a second. But anyways, what I was saying is that's one of the reasons why I'm teaching my son how to work with his hands. Like he loves helping me. Like, we'll go in the yard, we'll pick up trees. Something simple. He's 4, but at that point, he's gonna learn that work ethic.
Right.
Moving forward, and then on top of that, he sees me.
I can't wait to listen back to this.
He sees me doing problem solving and trying to fix stuff instead of just throwing it out or just doing whatever.
That brings a great question. Now I think we should close because
yeah.
I've thought about that too, and I realized the thing that I'm passing down to my children is communication. Yeah, that is my greatest skill set. Like I'm able to communicate to any people group. I guess I'm able to communicate to any people group, and I think
I'm a fun guy.
Teach your kids some skill set to help them progress, man. Yeah, I'm a studier, a connoisseur of history, and then I communicate well. Yeah. And now I'm watching my daughter just annihilate school right now because she's such a good communicator.
And I think my son, the way he's so active, he's not going to want to do like scholar stuff. He's going to want to work with his hands. Right. He wants to get out in our yard. He doesn't like playing video games.
I got so many jokes right now, but I'm gonna just let your son live, right? But yeah, man, Cal, you got any final thoughts, man? Because it's midnight, bro.
He works. What did I tell my wife? I bet you work.
Oh my goodness!
You weren't gonna. You didn't marry a white dude that works hard as a Mexican.
No.
I want nothing to do with this conversation.
For the record, my wife is Hispanic.
I know, right?
Listen, and once again, it's all love. Like, I don't know about y'all, but like, I don't feel any kind of way like talking passionately to my brothers about just things that we're passionate about. You know, trying to hash things out.
I'm about to go Soulja Boy.
Just trying to.
Yali? I made Yali.
Yali? The one that was tied to the podcast from the world, but the podcast can hide from her.
Hey, hold on. Play the clip, bro.
I couldn't find it, bro. I was looking for it.
Hold on, bro. While we get us finding some music. You got it? Oh my goodness, bro.
Shout out to Big Soldier.
Listen.
King Draco.
Listen. We just want y'all to know, man. Be loved. Be loved. Be present. Be grateful. Be positive, man. And what that means is every day, you know, seek to embody love. Every day, be present in the moment, in the place where you're at, in the conversation where you're at. Be grateful for what you have and who God has blessed you to be with. And always, always choose to have a positive mindset because you have responsibility. You have the responsibility in every situation to respond to your situations how you see fit. So I'll leave you with that nugget. Again, it's the 23rd of January 2019. This first month of the year is almost over. Hopefully you have taken some steps to change your ways and be a better person in this new year. But if you have not, guess what? Every day that you wake up is a fresh start.
Wake up.
This day. To this day.
So wake up, get up, get your lazy butt up, and make something happen.
To this day.
Love yourself.
And to this day.
And stop judging yourself.
To this day.
All right. It's the S.A.L.T Society podcast, the greatest podcast ever, and we're out. What we going out with?
Do It Again by Dayton.
Hey. Do we got some bars? Sound like he got bars for us. Hey, Dayton, you rapping, bro. Hey, yeah. Hold up. Hey, so it sound like he been studying my. Everybody.
just for the record, rappers, it's not a lyric.
I was born to take center stage. You should probably quit or take service paid. You would rather catch me, brothers fade. If I chuck Liddell and Cage, then May, did the battle.